the other important story as well, which is really at the center of what could be the US-India ties, which is Prime Minister Modi's first trip to Washington after President Trump has taken over. This will be the first meeting between the two leaders. The 45th and the 47th President of the United States, that's Donald Trump, is set to meet Prime Minister Modi in Washington, D.C. between the 12th and the 14th of February. It could be just after PM Modi's visit to Paris, where he's there for the Global AI Summit, and then he could just carry on. That's what the source-based information is, and then he would just carry on from there further on and meet President Trump. He'd announced this earlier. Remember, President Trump had announced this. There was nothing in the readout, but he had made this announcement. And then, of course, it's happening at a very short period of time. All right, Mohammed, Ghazali, the fact is this comes in less than a month of President Trump taking over. This visit, there is a lot on the table. You've been talking to your sources in the MEA. What are they telling you? What could be the top 2 or 3 focus areas in that entire visit?
Gauri, see, the significance of this meeting or the timing of the meeting can be gauged from the fact that Mr. Trump has invited a couple of other leaders before Mr. Modi reaches Washington and meets him. Netanyahu is there. Israeli Prime Minister is scheduled to meet him today. And in a couple of days from now, we will see Jordan's king also visiting the United States and meeting him. That shows that the conflict in one part of the world certainly is priority for Mr. Trump to resolve. And that is why he has invited Netanyahu, he has invited Jordan's king, King Abdullah III, for the meeting. But inviting Prime Minister Modi, a leader, or India claiming to be the leader of the global south, certainly sends out a message in our neighborhood as well, that what kind of relations we do have with United States and also with the new administration under Mr. Trump. And though Mr. Trump has also said that he will be speaking to Chinese President Xi Jinping, that conversation has not yet happened, or that has not been reported as of now. Now, when it comes to what are the issues which are going to be discussed when Mr. Modi meets Mr. Trump, certainly on top of it would be the illegal immigration issue, because that is hitting the headlines. The second would be the aid which Mr. Trump has sort of frozen or halted for all the other agencies which work in different countries, which work for humanitarian issues, and like USAID works in India as well, and it works in many other countries. And then there is a growing concern among the humanitarian organizations that how cutting fund to those organizations will impact their services in other countries. Illegal immigration is one. The second is going to be that how to revive those, you can say that those initiatives which Mr. Trump took in his first presidency when it comes to India, because Quad was he was one of the author of Quad, or architect of Quad, by involving India with Japan and Australia and other partners. And it also shows because one of his aides in the cabinet or say in his administration has been advocating that India should also be given the status of those allies of US at par with Japan, at par with Israel or other developing nations or developed nations. So these are some issues which will certainly be discussed when Mr. Modi meets Mr. Trump.
Right, indeed. Thanks much for breaking that down for us viewers. The fact is that when you talk about this relationship, it's extremely important, and there could be, as Ghazali was mentioning, immigration being one issue. And the important thing to note here is the fact that India is accommodating of President Trump's clear directives when it comes to illegal deportation should be put to an end is a very important step that needs to be kept in mind. It's almost it's a step that makes way for talks to be held in a manner that is conducive for both India and US. The second important fact that India has cut down duties on Harley-Davidson bikes ahead of a meeting which will not just be focused on immigration, but trade is another very important aspect towards a conducive conversation that will pave the way for what could be a very consequential US-India partnership.